In this video, I am going to show you the steps to land a job. I myself have been able to get jobs I'm not even qualified for, but there are secrets that get you the job even when you don't have the qualification. Okay, so we're going to start off with your resume. Your resume is the most important thing when applying for a job. So here it is. When I used to apply for jobs, I was getting no callbacks and I was wondering why. But then my amazing friend who happens to be an architect and has an amazing experience with making resumes did my resume. And when she made my resume, I started getting a lot of callbacks, more than ever before. So for my resume, she laid it out in a professional way. I'll upload a photo of that. And then also she added color to my resume. I would have never thought of adding color to the resume. It doesn't mean all the words have colors. No, it's just like little sections have color which make your resume stand out. Second, when you go to your interview, make sure that your resume is printed out in a hard copy. So when you go, you can go to FedEx. When you go there, ask them for a hard copy. It'll be, it's the size of a regular sheet. So just ask them that you need it to be thick. It's like a white sheet and the feeling's kind of like a cardboard. It's really thick. So ask for a hard copy because that will make you stand out from the rest of the resumes when the employer is deciding on who to hire. Because yours is thick, it'll stand out from the rest. Third, you want to come into the interview confident. Now, if you're like the old me and you're like, well, I have no confidence, I don't even know how to be confident when I'm nervous as hell for this interview, I'm going to share a story with you and then I'm going to tell you how to go into that interview confident. I applied for my first job in high school when I was about 17 years old, and I applied to this restaurant that was like my favorite place to eat, and it was close to my house. It was about a 2-minute drive, so it was super convenient and the food was amazing. So I went for an interview. I got an interview, which was cool. I went for the interview, and during the interview I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get this job. It was just a thought. And then I didn't get hired and I was super upset and asked the manager like why I didn't get hired, and he shared that I didn't get hired because I didn't look at him in his eyes, that I didn't come across as a confident person. And so I was like, what? And super disappointed, but it didn't stop me from going to the restaurant because it was like my favorite place to eat. So I kept going there to eat for the food, but the manager thought I was being persistent. So eventually I ended up getting hired at this restaurant as a host. And the manager was like, oh, well, I hired you because of your persistence. And in my head I was like, I was actually going there because of the food, but sure, I'll take the job. But anyways, in this job, even though I loved a lot of the people there and I believed in their, the company values, and I liked a lot of things there, unfortunately, a lot of things didn't go right, and it like ruined the whole hiring process for me, applying for jobs. It caused a lot of fear, and that was that one of the waiters there, he had a big crush on me, and because I wouldn't flirt back with him, he would treat me like trash. And also one of the managers there, a female manager, she told me one day, like, I would work as hard as I could, the best I knew at that time how to work, and I was cleaning a counter, and I remember her telling me like, stop doing that. Like, she said it out loud where everyone could hear. She was like, stop doing that, you're not good at anything. And after that, moving forward, I would have a lot of fear applying for jobs. I was super I would get really bad anxiety when applying online or when going to an interview. It was as if this spirit of depression would come in, just come inside of me, and I would be super down applying for jobs because of that horrible experience I had. And even when walking into a job, whether, if I got hired, I would always walk in with this spirit of inadequacy because I felt that no matter how hard I worked, I wasn't good enough because I believed her lie. So I went through this for a long time, and even now, sometimes I feel like no matter how hard I work, at times I still feel like, gosh, I'm not good enough, because I'm like there was something, the words my first manager said to me pierced so deep in my soul that it really hurt. But God is working with me and helping me helping me believe that I am adequate, that I'm enough, and that and he's showing me that I'm enough, because God, every year for the last 4 years, God has been promoting me in jobs, giving me jobs and pay wages that I should be making minimum wage and not having like a good job, but God has been promoting me each year and giving me good pay. So I just feel like that's God's way of saying you are good enough. You just walk in there in confidence and know that I am with you. So I want to tell you, there are different ways that you can go in confident, but first of all, yes, rely on God, pray, ask God to open doors for where he wants you to be and to block them where you don't, like where he doesn't believe you should be. And confidence also comes from knowing about the company. So we'll move into the next step so you know how to come across more confident. So let me get back to the point with the 4th step. And I shared that story with you because I believe it is helpful, and I want to encourage you that if you're currently facing a situation when you apply for jobs dealing with anxiety, you can overcome this. It takes time and you will overcome this. So the 4th one will be to be ready, to be prepared. Make sure you know what the vision of the company is, what their mission statement is, what the history of the company is. When you know that information, you come across as more confident, because if you go into an interview and they ask you, okay, let's just say if it's a restaurant, have you had food here? Have you been here before? If so, how many times? And you're like, actually, I've never been here. They're gonna be like, okay. Or if it's a shopping place and they're like, well, have you shopped here? And if you're like, yes, I love this and it's like one of my favorite places, then you show passion. People love passion. So if you know about the company, if you can if you genuinely haven't been there but you know a lot about the company, you're like, I love your mission statement and your vision statement and what you guys believe in, your values, and you get excited about that. Even if you haven't been there but you took your time to research about that company, you stand out than the other people that are there for an interview. And the 5th one would be to be ready with the questions, because if an employer asks you questions and you do not know them, you're gonna get really nervous and you're gonna be like, and that's just awkward. So be ready. Like I said, know your information well about the company. And also some questions to expect from your employer would be, why should we hire you? So an example for me would be, you should hire me because I bring quality to the table, I'm always on time, and I'm kind, and I'm not just smiling now, but I always smile. Another question they're probably going to ask you is, describe yourself in 1 word. So for me, for example, I would say compassionate. They will probably also ask you if you have ever been in a leadership position. If so, they want an example. So one of my examples would be, well, in church, I started a small group, Creative Minds for God, where I was the leader of this group for about 2 years. And in this group, I learned how to encourage others to work in a team. Another question too is, how are you as a team player? And you give an example. So for me, it would be, there was a time I went on a mission trip and we all had to collaborate in an artistic play that where we showed Jesus. So whenever I would do what I had to do, whether it was directing or helping with the actors, once I was done with my task, I would ask, how else can I help? And the 6th one would be, which most employers ask at the end, is, do you have any questions? And you want to make sure that you do ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you come across as if you're just looking for a random job to pay your bills and you're willing to settle. So be confident when asking the questions. Be the person that's interviewing them, because you have choices. So here are some of the ones, some of the questions you can ask that I wrote for you. Okay, here they are. Give me time to unlock this phone. It takes forever. Okay, so here they are. How can I grow in this company? Where do you see this company going? I saw that this company's mission statement is whatever it is. How can I add value to my coworkers and this position? How long do employees usually stay in this company? Why do you believe this is a place to work? What is the work environment like? So these are some great questions. I know a lot of people struggle with knowing what questions to ask, so that's why I wanted to share with you the ones I have used in the past that have really helped me out. I usually get jobs really fast. If anything, most of the time I have options to where to choose from, and I don't say this in a cocky way because it took time. I think the more I failed at interviews, the better I became, and the more confident I just grew as a person from failure to now knowing what to do during interviews, how to talk, how to present myself. And so the last one we're going to talk about is how to dress for an interview. So this one's for you ladies. Number 1, do not use perfume because a lot of people are allergic or simply they just hate your perfume. So please do not. Just for the interview, take a shower, maybe put a nice lotion that's not like crazy strong, but perfume is a big one. A lot of people can't stand the smell or they're simply allergic to it. Second, do not overwear makeup. If you look like a clown, you just come across as someone who's not confident. So if you're going to wear, if you want to look presentable, wear makeup that goes with your skin tone. If you show up with like purple eyeshadow and like red lipstick, it's just too much and you're saying, ha, look at me. You do not need to do that. The more professional you can show up, the more qualified you will be. So put your hair in a ponytail or just make sure your hair looks good, look professional, and also make sure that you have tones in your makeup that go with your skin color so that it's just, makeup's a statement. You're already beautiful, but makeup just like highlights who you are. So the less, the better. And then obviously the colors that go with you and the outfit you're wearing. So if you're wearing a white shirt and black pants, then you could wear something simple like what I have. And lastly, for you ladies, please make sure that you don't wear tight clothes during your interview. If you're going to wear a white shirt, a white button-up shirt, make sure that it's not too tight in this area, but make sure that it's a shirt that's nicely fitted but where there's still air and you're not showing cleavage, because that is really unprofessional. And that goes, same thing goes with your pants. Make sure that your pants aren't too tight where your booty's showing all over the place. So be super professional, because remember, this is a work environment. This is not a party. You're not there to impress anyone. You're there to make that moolah. And this one's for my fellas. So for you guys, make sure you show up looking professional. Do not just show up in jeans and a shirt. This is not your house. This is a professional work environment. I do not care if you're applying to be a janitor or if you're applying to be a teacher. You need to treat the place you're going to with respect. So show up with a nice polo or a nice button-up shirt, nice pants, and nice shoes. Now, if you can't afford it and you're like, I don't have money for this, what if I don't get a job? Just go to the thrift store. You'll find something, even if it's for that one day. Fake it till you make it. If you don't got money, go to the thrift store, get something nice, my son. Okay, you're not my son, but you know what I'm saying. So yes, guys, you got this. And also with your cologne. Yes, the ladies love the cologne, but you're not there to impress, you're there to get a job. So no colognes needed, but please, I'm begging you, put some deodorant on. Nobody likes a worker that smells like horrible BO. And the last one for you fellas is with your hair. Please make sure, if you're able to afford it, to go get a nice haircut before you go to this interview. Make sure that your hair is nicely gelled, and if you're bald, good for you. And also, if you have a mustache, please shave that off. But if you have beard, just make sure your beard's not like up to here. Make sure that it's nicely trimmed. I'm laughing really hard because our cameraman behind has a nice mustache. But yeah, make sure that you're nicely, trimmed. But I think most employers would rather meet you just fully shaved off, just a fresh face, nice hair. It shows who you are. It's like girls. It's like, don't put the makeup on, just show up natural. So yeah, those are for you guys. So thank you guys for watching this video. Oh yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to add, I know there's been a lot of last things, but this really helps. Please don't show up to the interview as a victim or with victim mentality. Don't show up telling your employer your whole sad story because you want to get hired so that they feel sorry for you. It's not gonna work. Show up confident. We all deal with crap. leave it at home, come to work confident. Because if you share your stuff right away, they're gonna be like, oh shoot, they're gonna do this when they're at work. So do not come as a victim, come as a victor with just confidence. You got this, you're gonna get the job, you're great, you're enough, you're worthy. And the most important thing is that God believes in you, and God is the one that elevates you and promotes you. So put your trust in Him. I'm super excited for you to get jobs. Let me know how it goes. Use these tips and also be kind. Somebody is really struggling to get a job right now. So share this video with them. If you love this video, share on the comments below what else you would suggest others to do during an interview. And I know these things because I have been someone that has hired people before, so this is how I know also other things about hiring process. And yeah, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Mwah!